Greetings everyone, welcome back to Blade Bias, the now complete Blade Bias. Welcome back to Ty. He posted a few videos a few days ago, but now that he's back, it's my turn again. I got a Kraken trainer. Now I know, I said I wasn't going to buy anything until I reviewed everything in my collection, but as I went over on stream, I feel that I have a few very, very good reasons justifying this purchase. Not that I need to justify my purchase to you guys, but I figured that this trainer purchase actually has some meaning to it, so I might as well explain it, while also providing my thoughts on the Kraken trainer as a whole, because newsflash, I think it is vastly overhated for no apparent reason. Starting off with the reasons, my biggest reason for getting this was my realization that I would not be able to flip this when I went off to school. Now, I could bring it. It's not like I'm living on campus. I am going to be living on in a separate apartment. Technically could bring it, but I am just, like, I just love my Kraken so much. I mean, like, look at how beautiful it is. I don't want anything to happen to it. So, it would just be a better idea to leave it here on its little stand right next to my computer where I know it will be safe and just leave it there. But that also means I don't want to not flip a Kraken for months on end because I love it. So I figured, why not get a Kraken trainer and get a Kraken trainer in the original color that I wanted a Kraken in. If you remember when I talked about the Kraken when I was using ties, I mentioned that I would probably want a teal dual tone uninked one, and that is exactly what we have right here. And it is beautiful. I really can't understate how well the color looks in person, and it doesn't really come across on camera. But that's getting off topic a little bit. So the main reason is because I still want to flip a Kraken without having to flip a live blade, you know? Reason number two is that this was just such a good deal. This is a freshly tuned, new hardware, new blade, new all of that. I think it was from a warranty service that the guy did with Squid, with a Kraken anchor, and the thing is pretty much mint. I got this for $190, which I couldn't pass that up. That's a pretty good deal in my book, especially for a ballad song that goes so incredibly hard. This thing, I like it a lot. Spoilers. Reason number three is to compare the Kraken and the live blade, or the trainer and the live blade, which kind of goes into my point later as far as comparisons go. But as I said in the beginning of the video, so many people hate on the Kraken trainer. Oh, it's terrible. Oh, the balance sucks. Oh, it's so bad. Don't buy that. It's trash. Like, the live blade's better. It's really not. There is a difference between the live blade and the trainer, and I'll get into that later. But it's not so big as to call the thing absolute trash, at least in my book. I'd say that this thing at least accomplishes to be at least 90% of the experience that the actual live blade Kraken is at. So all the hate that the Kraken trainer gets is really not justified. Reason number four, I brought this up earlier, but I want something teal from Squid, and like I said, this was the original colorway that I actually wanted in my Kraken. So that's a smaller reason. But reason number five, which is one of the biggest along with the flipping at school, like having this at college kind of thing, is I want to create one of the most in-depth Kraken reviews out there, going into everything from the trainer blade versus the live blade, the matte finish that some Krakens are sold with versus the glossy finish that the base ones are sold with, the dual tone versus non-dual tone differences, the differences between the trainer and the live, like I said, and just create an overall really good in-depth review of the Kraken, because in everyone's ability to say that the Kraken is one of the best experiences on the market, there aren't really many reviews of it to back that up, especially of the newer versions that I've personally seen. So I'm going to try and do that. I'm going to go over all of the little intricate details, such as the difference between the dual tone and non-dual tone. The dual tone is a little bit sharper in here. The glossy versus the matte finish. I prefer the matte finish. It has a lot more grip and it just feels a little better. The trainer versus a live blade. All of that stuff is going to go into a video, and I'm super excited to film that. Which might actually be the 4th video that I was talking about in my series of changes, instead of the Prisma or the Nemesis review, but we'll see. And yeah, so those are my main reasons for buying this. Like I said, I don't really need to justify buying it. I can buy whatever I want. But with me having bought this, it does mean that something over here in my collection is probably going to get sold. So if you're looking to own something from my collection, keep an eye out on my Instagram. Because something is probably going to leave my collection, considering how much I like this. It's very similar to one specific Balisong in my collection, but way better in every way. So keep your eyes out for that if you're interested in owning anything from my collection. Anyway, how is the Kraken trainer, Ethan? Well, as I said earlier, I think it is easily at least 90% of what the live blade Kraken is. The balance is slightly different from the live blade, I will give you that. It fans a bit differently, it's a bit more handle biased. But it is nowhere near as bad as I was expecting it to be. And I knew this because I tried one at Blade Show. But it is nowhere near as bad as people make it out to be. People just needlessly hate on the Kraken trainer for some reason. And I think it is because it's different from the live blade. But what people forget is that different does not mean worse. It's kind of like the BB Barfly conundrum, where the BB Firefly is so different, but it's not bad. It's actually really good if that's what you're into. Yes, the balance of the trainer is different from the live blade, specifically the Tonto live blade. I think this is more similar to the Bowie experience that you get, but still being a bit more handle biased than the Bowie one. Definitely different to the Tonto Kraken, but still, the only way I really detect that is in fanning. Like, it's slightly worse at fanning, just because of how much it, like, shakes around. But I would not even go anywhere as near saying that it's trash. It feels, like I said, like 90% of what the live blade Kraken achieves with its flipping experience. It's a polished, really, really good overall experience in a really attractive package, minus the blade, and I'll get into that later. But, like, yeah, it's really good. It feels good in the hands. The tolerances are solid. It flips really well. It's kind of like the live blade, where it's just a trainer that I feel like everyone can get behind. It's a good weight. It's a pretty good balance. It's not everyone's cup of tea, I get that, but I think it's a pretty good balance for a basic everything all-around trainer. And it's actually at a pretty good price. I mean, considering I got mine for what I got mine, I might be a bit biased on that, but I think a normal Kraken trainer goes for about $220 without a dual tone or an inked blade or anything like that. I think that's pretty fair. You're talking $20 over some of the inked squid trainer models for an upgraded aluminum, more grip, jimping, texturing on the faces, as well as this machining, a better balance, in my opinion, and just an overall better feeling package. Bushings, that's a huge one. I always forget that the squid trainer doesn't have bushings, because mine does. But I don't know why people hate on the Kraken trainer so much. I can't get it. I can't get it through my mind why people hate it. Like I said, yes, it's slightly different, but bad? Not at all. This is competing with my Nemesis to become one of my favorite trainers. This thing has easily beaten out the Prisma, in my personal opinion, to make my top 3 now the Nemesis, Kraken trainer, Wait, no, I said that wrong. I'm sorry. The Prisma is still in my top 3. What does it take? It's taken out the Vortex from my top 3. Because my top 3 trainers was the Nemesis, the Prisma, and the Vortex. Now it's the Nemesis, the Kraken trainer, and the Prisma. Not in that order. I'm still trying to figure out the order. But my biggest complaint with the Kraken trainer, and maybe it's the reason that everyone hates it, but even with me not liking it so much, I don't think it's a deal breaker at all, is that this thing, the blade, is pretty much everything that I don't like about it. Now, don't get me wrong. It's very, very comfortable. This definitely competes with my Arctic in terms of comfort on Chaplains. The Chaplain comfort on the, I believe this is a chamfered blade spine, rivals that of my crowned blade spine on my Arctic, which I consider to have the most comfortable Chaplain of all the Balisongs. But everything else about the blade I just don't like. I'll get into this in my full review, but I feel like the design language on the blade is super confused. It doesn't really know what it wants to do. You got parallelograms over here, you got circles, you got rounded lines, you've got these little divots down here, you got the whole rounded blade. It just seems kind of confused, especially since the Kraken handles are so nice looking. You got the line with the circle. There's the line with the circle, but what are these squares doing here? And what are these little notches? And I think they could have done a little bit better job designing the blade, in my personal opinion. But the biggest thing for me, and this is pretty, it's subjective, but it's also pretty objective at the same time, because I don't feel that sound is personal preference. I mean, it is, don't get me wrong, sound is personal preference, but when the ring of a blade goes so far as to actually physically pain me and give me a splitting headache, that's a pretty glaring design flaw. I might be the only person that experiences that, so I wouldn't really call it. I think design flaw is a bit harsh of a description. But my biggest problem with the Kraken trainer is the fact that I cannot flip it without a taped blade. I tried for 15 minutes when I got it, and I tried when my stream chat asked me to take off the tape. And once I took off the tape, I couldn't replace it because I don't have any tape down here. You could see my energy levels drop on stream because the ring of it, I have tinnitus, which is a constant ringing in your ears. And this rings in such a subtle yet forward way that it tricks my brain into thinking that my tinnitus is just getting louder and louder, which causes it to actually get louder and louder, my perception of it. And it is no words less than awful. I don't even think I can describe how uncomfortable it is to flip this without this tape. So that's my biggest complaint. And again, like I said, it's a design flaw for me personally because of how much that affects my flipping experience. Thankfully, it's an easy fix. But sound, I guess, is subjective. You might like the ring. I personally don't really see how the ring could be that appealing to anyone. Then again, I like the Squid Trainer ring, but the Squid Trainer ring only rings when you close it. And the Nemesis ring specifically, it has this very it's like a bell almost, and you can hear it ringing. Whereas the Kraken trainer, I don't really know how to describe it, is almost quieter, like it isn't there, but it is at the same time. It almost reminds me of those old CRT TVs, that really high-pitched noise that they make, that you feel like isn't there, but at the same time you hear it really loudly. That's what I feel like with this thing. And as such, without tape, this thing is a no flip for me. I can't do it. But, minor sound rant over. Kraken trainer overall, it's a really solid experience, especially for the price. For the quality of materials used, for the quality of the tolerances that you get, for just the overall Balisong quality that you're getting with this thing, I don't really think there's too much on the market that really, competes with it in the sense of overall feel and price to performance, kind of like the Live Blade Kraken. The live blade Kraken, sure, there are balisongs better than it, like the Seraph and the Tsunami. But the fact that you get that package at $270-ish is amazing. And that's how I feel about the Kraken trainer. Sure, you can get an Antarctic, which is similar specs, cheaper. You could get a Prisma, which is similar specs, cheaper. I mean, you get the discounted, or the downgraded aluminum, but some people don't even mind that. But just something about the Kraken trainer just feels overall polish. It's the polish that you get for the price that I think goes a long way. And it's with squid products in general. Squid products just seem to have that polish that not many other makers can really match. And I don't know how to describe it, but if you flipped a squid trainer, not a squid trainer, but a Squid Industries trainer, you kind of know what I'm talking about. With the exception of the Nautilus. Anyway. Yeah. I bought a Kraken trainer. Thanks for listening to me ramble about it for however long this video has been. Hopefully there's going to be a review on it very soon, comparing it to the live blade, getting my thoughts about that all set up, and just reviewing it in general. But yeah, those are my initial thoughts on the Kraken trainer. Hope you all enjoyed. Hope you all are having a good day. And I will see you all in the next one. Peace out, guys. See ya.